There have been many bloody wars in the history of the world, but none as bad as World War II. World War II was the biggest war in history, having over 50 countries involved and over 50 million dead. In this speech, I will talk about what started the war, what was Blitzkrieg, and what were the worst battles of the war. The reason I chose this topic was because the person who sits next to me in class was doing World War I. I thought I could keep on track doing World War II. The reason we should learn about World War II is so that we never forget history, because without history, we would make a lot of mistakes. The first thing I will talk about is what started the war, and what did Hitler do before the war. There we go. Okay. The first thing Hitler took was Austria. After prolonged propaganda in Austria, which is like saying that you're better than you actually are, German troops entered on March 12, 1938. No fighting happened though. Crowds cheered the German troops, and a day later, Austria was a part of Germany. Next, the Sudetenland. The Sudetenland was a part of Czechoslovakia with many ethnic Germans. The Allies agreed to give Hitler the Sudetenland on terms that he wouldn't invade the rest of Czechoslovakia. He accepted, but then invaded the rest of Czechoslovakia. The next thing was Poland. The Allies really had to put their foot down here and said that an invasion of Poland would mean war. So, Hitler made an alliance with Stalin, the leader of the USSR at the time, and invaded Poland. The next thing is Blitzkrieg, German for flash war. It was a tactic used by the Germans where they would encircle and close in on the enemy. A famous Blitzkrieg was at the start of the war when the Germans blitzkrieg through the Ardennes, which is that part of France up there, in the top, I think, right corner? Yeah. And they encircled them, forcing them to leave Belgium. Even civilian ships came to take their young men and women home. Another blitzkrieg was Operation Barbarossa, where there were many blitzkriegs. In total, 5 to 6 million Soviet soldiers were captured. Also during Operation Barbarossa, Germany was at its height in power. I made this video to show you the transformation. Sorry, that was really quick. I didn't know what to do with it. Anyway, the last thing I'm going to talk about, or one of the last things I'm going to talk about is the worst battles that happened during the war. A famous bloody battle was the Battle of Omaha. Omaha wasn't the only landing in Normandy, but it was certainly the worst. Hold on, let me find where I am. It happened because the Allies were winning the war and they wanted to free France from the Germans. Not a battle, but the Holocaust was bloody. The Holocaust was a place where they sent you if you were Jewish. And other things were worked there. They sent you there if you disrespected the Nazis. Finally, the worst battles of the war. 10 with Okinawa. Wait, hold on. Before I say them, take this with a grain of salt. 10, Okinawa. 9, the invasion of Normandy. 8, the Battle of the Bulge. 7 was Stalingrad. 6, Leningrad. 5, the invasion of Poland. 4, Operation Bagration. 3, Iwo Jima. The second was Battle of Berlin, and the first was the Battle of Singapore. So, we've gone through why the war started, what was Blitzkrieg, and what were the worst battles of the war. So all that I've talked about is terrible, and I hope you go do your own research. Learn more about World War II than I can talk about. But, before we finish, I would like to discuss this map. This is a map from 1937, and as you can see, there are some countries that look different. One of them is Austria, which was below Germany, but now isn't because it's a part of Germany. Or there is a different flag for China, or there's a country on the westmost point of China, below that has a different flag, or there's a flag on the east top side of China that looks different, and that Japan has a lot of stuff that they don't have now. And then this this map is 3 years later from the last map. And I think you probably see, but probably not see, Poland, which is supposed to be the west side of the Soviet Union, which is that big country where Russia now is. But I had to cut it out, or no, I had to put stars over it because the symbols could be real, or the Nazi symbols could be really disappointing.